Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining. We're just going to give a moment to clear the waiting room and make sure that folks have connected to audio and that they can hear us. As a reminder, when you are entering from the waiting room, please do remain on mute unless or until you are providing testimony to the entertainment division. Good afternoon. This is an administrative hearing before the Mayor's Office of Consumer Affairs and Licensing. Today is Thursday, March 21st, 2024. This hearing is being conducted pursuant to temporary amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. This hearing is being recorded and will be posted to the City of Boston's website. We are joined today by the Executive Director of the Mayor's Office of Consumer Affairs and Licensing, Kathleen Joyce, and Director of Operations, Rebecca Fu. I will read into the record today's agenda item. I will ask who is present on behalf of the applicant. You will then make a brief presentation regarding your proposal, followed by questions by the Entertainment Division, and testimony beginning with elected officials or their representatives. Please do limit your testimony to 2 minutes, and please state your name, address, and affiliation, if any. The item before the division this afternoon is Reggie Rondo LLC doing business as Small Victories, located at 400 Dorchester Street. The application is to add the entertainment categories of audio device, TVs, automatic amusement devices, and disc jockey daily until 2 a.m. Who is present on behalf of the applicant?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board. Kristen Scanlon for the applicant. Signed on with us today as well is Josh Weinstein, who is the owner of Small Victories at 400 Dorchester Street in Andrew Square. Josh, I know you're familiar with him as he's been before the licensing board before, but he's also the owner of the Quiet Few in the Jeffers Point neighborhood of East Boston. As Madam Chair knows, this entity was recently approved for this concept and for a transfer of a liquor license at the same location by the Boston Licensing Board and the ABCC with a 2 a.m. closing time on the license. The entertainment that we're seeking is pretty similar to what he has at the Quiet Few now. Obviously, your non-live entertainment categories for TVs and background music, and for live categories, DJ, amusement devices or games, which will include a photo booth and shuffleboard, which is popular and that they have at the Quiet Few now, as well as trivia for trivia nights. That was in the application, but wasn't in the legal ad. So I just wanted to point that out on the hearing because we are seeking approval for that as well. When we were seeking to transfer the liquor license at the same location, Josh did meet with the Andrew Square Civic Association, who I believe is signed on with us today as well, but was supportive generally of the concept for this location. And I know you've also previously heard from the East Boston community regarding the character and fitness of Josh and his team and the ease of communication with him regarding any neighborhood concerns there. So that certainly won't change with his joining the South Boston community and more specifically the Andrew Square community. We did hear from ONS last night regarding some concerns raised regarding the 2 a.m. closing. I know it's already been approved for the liquor license, but we had included that for the entertainment categories as well. Just generally speaking, Josh plans to close Small Victories most of the time at 1 a.m. anyway. The 2 a.m. was transferred consistent with the previous licensee approved at that location, and we will really reserve that for any private event bookings or special occasions, but mostly will close at 1 a.m. In that vein, as far as the live entertainment categories are concerned, Josh is happy to cease all live entertainment operations at 1 a.m. given the 2 a.m. Concern that was recently raised from the neighborhood. But as you'll hear from Josh, because I'll turn it over to him in a moment, that really right now, all they're looking for as far as live entertainment is a DJ for weekend brunch. So there won't be any later evening hours around that, obviously. and trivia, which likely will be held on a weekday or a couple of weekdays. Any other requests in the future that may involve instrumentalists or vocalists, for instance, they'll obviously come back to the board to either amend the license or for a one-day request if it centers around private events. With that being said, I want to turn it over to Josh briefly so you can hear from him, and then we're happy to answer any questions or concerns the board or the community might have.
Thank you. Yeah, just to reiterate what Kristen was saying, we plan to close 7 days a week at 1 a.m. We purchased a 2 a.m. license, and yeah, under special circumstances, be it New Year's Eve or a private event or something, or if there's actually a need to stay open till 2 a.m. I personally don't see one now. I'm happier to get closed by 1, get my staff home earlier, and not take in patrons from other bars and restaurants who might have been out till 1 a.m. and then create problems at our place from other places. It's not my intention, and I don't really have any interest in playing that game. As far as entertainment, yes, we've got as far as coin operated right now, it's just a photo booth. We plan on having some board games, and we plan on having a shuffleboard. Right now we have board games and shuffleboard at the Quiet Few, and it's a big hit, and people really gravitate towards those items. As far as the DJ thing and live entertainment, we have trivia 1 night a week at the Quiet Few. I'd like to replicate that because it's a great draw for a slower night. And I've always wanted to just do something fun for a Sunday afternoon. If it's a DJ spinning Soul 45s, I think that sounds great at 2 p.m. There's certainly no plan to have any sort of live entertainment past 1 a.m. And as a musician for 10-ish years, I've played enough bad places with bad sound. I have no intention of having any instrumentalists or a band or a 2-piece or a 3-piece or anything. We're not constructed that way, and if we did, it would give us and the artist a disservice.
Thank you. Anything further from the applicant before we move to questions? Great.
Yeah, really quickly, I just also want to say, I think we have a pretty good reputation in Jeffreys Point in East Boston, and we strive to continue being a community-driven place in South Boston as well, and Andrew Square specifically. I think that's the point of all this, is just to be community-driven, and if there are items that after I've explained and Kristen's explained what we're sort of after, if there are more questions or concerns, I'm always available, be it now during this hearing or take my email and phone number and give me a shout.
You, Director Joyce, do you have any questions for the applicant?
A few questions. If Josh or Attorney Scanlon, if you wouldn't mind, I know we went over this on the licensing hearing, but Josh described some of the entertainment ideas he had, but in general, can you describe in your own words what type of venue this is, what your concept is? So if people that are joined us today weren't on the previous hearing or weren't able to go to any of the community meetings, in general, we'll have a public record of what you envision this venue concept to be, number of seats, seats at the bar.
Yeah, absolutely. Overall, this is just an extension of the Quiet Few. It is a neighborhood tavern where it's not strange for people to come in 3, 4, 5 times a week. I'm a big believer that a tavern is where a community, congregates and celebrates and commiserates and gets to know each other and gossips about what's going on in the neighborhood, and should be an extension of their living room, and a place for everyone to feel safe and feel comfortable and come in and get to know their neighbors. That concept has treated us really well in East Boston. That's exactly what we plan to do in South Boston. It is a bigger space. Right now, the Quiet Few has a capacity of 49. The capacity at Small Victories is 120. The bar is longer. We've got about 22 seats at the bar versus 14, 16 at the bar in East Boston.
Okay, and I know Attorney Scanlon mentioned the community had expressed concerns about the 2 a.m. closing, and in response to that, you have offered up ending live entertainment at 1 a.m. should it go that late with special events. But what other issues or concerns were raised as to the entertainment request at the community meetings? Or do you have any written correspondence that maybe hasn't gotten to the board yet?
No.
No.
Okay. And now, is this type of entertainment permitted by your landlord and in your lease?
Yes.
Okay. Let me just
And
see.
live entertainment is allowed as of right at this address too.
Okay. I am familiar with the licensee that was there before, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Does this space have any soundproofing done
We
already?
put, yeah, there was a ton of soundproofing that went into the construction.
Okay. And then if issues should arise from neighbors, would you be the person that they would contact in real time to address something that was loud or,
Yes,
okay. And you'll make your number available to them?
yes.
Okay. When are you expecting to open?
Hopefully by the beginning of April. It's looking probably like within the first 2 weeks of April.
Okay. And you don't anticipate using any promoters or having cover charges for events?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Are there any age group limitations? Will there be 21 and over events, or would there be some of these some licensees in the city will have 18 and over events, they notify the board, or events that were only for 21 and over, or is your tavern idea something that would exclude such events?
I think it would depend on the event. When we say event, it's I mean more like if somebody wants to have their birthday party there and that's about it. I think that's how we run it now. I don't plan on doing any promoted events, anything that you would need to be ticketed or we'd need to sort of necessarily would go against anything else that we just do daily, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
No, that does make sense. And then do you have security cameras on premise?
Yes.
Okay. I am gonna turn it over to Director Fu to see if she has any questions that I may have missed. Rebecca?
Yep. Sorry, I just wanted to clarify on the age groups. You don't like limit after a certain time, right?
Yeah, I think time will tell what's needed and what's not. Right now, we're following hours and everything the same way that we do it. The Quiet Few, which is until 7 on the weekdays and until 5 on the weekends. We're carding everybody and we're keeping track of everybody. But I like to come into the Quiet Few with my 4-year-old and sit at a table and have dinner with him. But I wouldn't do it at 10 p.m. on a Saturday, and we would be limiting to that as well if it's a environment like that.
And the cameras that you have on premise, do they save the recordings for, like 24 or 48 hours, something like that?
We're finishing all that stuff up right now. There's about 20 cameras on premise, and right now we're having it set up so it would just go to an iCloud.
Great.
So we'd have footage for a while.
And then, sorry, I'm not familiar with this area. I looked at the Google Maps real quick, but are there residential abutters, commercial abutters? What type of building is this?
Yes, it's mixed use. There's residents above and commercial on either side of us.
And then I know you said there was a ton of soundproofing that went in. If either you could describe it a little more, if you could, or you can send us a write up after of what went.
Oh
into
yeah.
it.
Yeah, we had a technician come in, a sound technician come in. We played some music. They gave their thoughts and how we could really get any decibel level down to what's written in the lease. And filled it in. There's a bunch of technical stuff that I don't fully know what they're called, but there's drop ceilings, insulation between, and I can absolutely send I have the plans separate that I can send to the board and to whomever wants them.
Yep, that would be great.
Cool.
See, and you said the capacity is 120, correct?
Correct.
We usually ask, I mean, 120 is not super huge, but if you could send a security dispersal emergency operations plan, that would be very helpful.
Yeah.
And I believe that should conclude. I think that's everything that I have. Thank you.
Dr. Joyce, any further questions before we move to testimony?
I have no further questions.
Thank you. Are there any elected officials or their representatives who would like to testify on this matter?
Yes. Hi. Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. I'm Laura Toledano with Consular Flynn's office. The consular would like to go on record and support based on the recommendation of the Andrews Square Civic Association and out of respect for the outcome of a vote in support that was held with their members. And as neighbors who live in the impacted area, the Andrews Square Civic Association has also highlighted the positive feedback this proponent has received for his work with the community at another establishment in East Boston, with the Jeffries Point Neighborhood Association. They described him as being responsive and as a good neighbor who quickly resolved any complaints regarding noise and other quality of life issues. We understand there are concerns in the community and from neighbors regarding this proposal. However, Councilor Flynn's support is based on the community process for his location, where the operator has started their intentions to close mostly at 1 a.m. and at 2 a.m. will be reserved only for private events and special occasions. Moreover, it is also our understanding that live entertainment is allowed as of right at this location, and that the operator only seeks trivia and DJ for a weekend brunch right now. We were informed that they will have to come back again for any additional requests should they want to add instrumentalists or a vocalist in the future. Lastly, although the 2 a.m. is to be reserved only for private events, the proponent has expressed to our office that they are amenable to ceasing live entertainment by 1 a.m. and in recognition of neighbors' quality of life concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other elected officials or their representatives who would like to testify on this matter?
Yes, good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the board. Gabriela Ramirez from Councilor Gabriela Coletta's office. Councilor Coletta wishes to provide a positive statement of character for the owner and operator seeking approval of this establishment. He has been a good neighbor and addressed any problems that have arisen in East Boston. He's a dedicated and responsible business owner and member of the East Boston community. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other elected officials or their representatives who would like to provide testimony on this matter?
Yes. Senator Nick Collins, South Boston. This is the matter before Andrews Square. Small Victories program or Small Victories proposal.
That's correct, Senator Collins. Thank you for being with us. Would you like to provide your testimony?
I would. I'm against the DJ. I'm against the video games. we can't, Exhibit A was Sunday. We have a whole youthful society who does nothing but go on dating apps and play video games. That's the last thing we need. We need people socializing in these establishments, not playing video games and being degenerates. So I'm against the concept of a DJ till 2 a.m. and I'm against the concept of video games, live music, entertainment, socialization. Andrew Square needs that. The last thing we need are more idiots. And I'm actually, quite frankly, taken aback that East Boston thinks it's their obligation to weigh in on behalf of a business owner in East Boston for a proposal in South Boston. So quite frankly, I think we should put this thing on pause because the right conversations have not, I have no idea who this is. The only person I know is Josh Weinstein, is a character from Entourage, which is a show from the 2000s. So never met this individual, have no idea, as much as I'd like to take on faith, what people in East Boston have to say. And I love the community of East Boston, but the fact that they're coming on to weigh in on behalf of a project outside of their district speaks volumes to me. So I'm opposed to this as it stands. I think it's a bad idea. It's a bad precedent that we're having organizations and elected officials from other parts of the city weighing in on what's good for the neighborhood of South Boston. So I'm asking the board to put a pause on this. I think that is something that is a bad precedent to start.
Okay,
And
I'm
I
just gonna
just-
jump in, Senator, not to interrupt you, but we often have an analysis about the character and fitness of an applicant, and I think
that's
that's the
fine.
character.
With all due respect, Chair, under the law, that's fine. But with all due respect, is the norm that we should be perpetuating. If the organizations locally want to share the experiences of other folks, I mean, give me a break. We have city councils coming in, weighing in on behalf of things outside of their districts. That's outrageous. So for that to be the norm, totally outrageous as far as I'm concerned. So I'm asking for a pause on this. I have never met anyone involved in this thing. And conceptually, I want to see Andrew Square grow correctly and appropriately. So I have a DJ till 2 a.m. We don't need Euro parties till 2 a.m. That's not what Andrew Square needs. They need vibrancy. They don't need the place that everyone's going to go to last to be all hopped up and to have no socialization, which is what this proposal speaks to me objectively from a distance, which is how this conversation's gone. I've been around for 14 years, never met this person. He wants to be doing business in the district. He's engaged the Civic Association, and that's wonderful. But to have other people hopping in to tell us how wonderful this proponent is from East Boston is offensive. So I would like this thing to be put on a pause. I can see a community meeting in South Boston that has this individual come tell us the details. Because right now I'm not comfortable with it. Feel free to support it as a commission. Go right ahead. And then you're going to own everything in the aftermath. So I'm asking for a pause. I'm asking for a meeting on this to understand exactly what's going on, not what a civic group from Jeffries Point tells us, or what the counselor who has no accountability on this issue has to say. That's my 2 cents. You can do what you want with it. I appreciate your position, but that's mine.
Thank you, Senator, and thank you for being with us today. Are there any other elected officials or their representatives who would like to provide testimony before we move to members of the public?
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the board. Lydia Pulaski with the Office of Neighborhood Services. I serve as a South Boston liaison. Apologies that I'm not able to be on camera at this time, but I just wanted to submit testimony in regards to small victories here. The applicant presented the small victories concept to be located at 400 Dorchester Street before the Andrew Square Civic Association on September 25th. The meeting was well attended. Andrew Square Civic Association membership voted unanimously in support, stating this establishment is a big victory for Andrew Square. Also noting that the Jeffries Point Neighborhood Association in East Boston submitted a character reference on the proponent relating to their conduct at the Quiet Few, stating, our board does not unilaterally make this type of statement as our organization's voice is typically determined by a community vote. However, as a board, we did feel it appropriate to write and let you know our experience with Mr. Weinstein since he opened his doors 4+ years ago. During the neighborhood process, Mr. Weinstein was very easy to work with and listened to and adjusted to neighborhood concerns about noise, etc. When he first opened, there were a few residents who reached out to our organization about noise and smoking issues, which were taken care of immediately and honestly never resurfaced. He has shown himself to be a true neighbor in the community and not just a business owner. Aside from the above mentioned support, South Boston Beat submitted concern over lack of community awareness in regards to this entertainment application, and they also registered concerns over a 2 a.m. close in regards to entertainment. There has been no additional opposition that our office is aware of. Our office would like to defer to the board at this time. Thank you.
If I may, this is a unique situation. Was Ms. Pulaski on the board of Andrews Square Civic Association when that meeting took place? And if so, I think it should be disclosed, given the fact
Sure.
that she's now on behalf of the mayor's office.
Senator Collins, I was never a part of the Andrews Square board. That was never my involvement with Andrews Square Civic. I am, however, active in the Andrews Square community. That's true, but that's just an outcropping of just my place in the neighborhood.
Great. Thank you, Lydia. We will move to general testimony. The first hand I see raised is from Linda Zablocki. Ms. Zablocki, you may please provide your testimony. You'll have 2 minutes to do so. Ms. Zablocki, it looks like you've just muted yourself. I've just asked you to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for everybody's opinion here. I would just like to state that we had quite a few meetings in Andrews Square Civic with Josh Weinstein. We had discussed noise and all of that there, which we understand will be addressed. He is going to a 1 o'clock. He bought a 2 o'clock license. We understand that, but some people don't. That he's not going to be using this till 2 o'clock unless it is a special circumstance, maybe a private party or something, which you would have to go in front of the board again to get that. We have a lot of faith in this young man as a business, and we had other businesses come forward for this building, which we absolutely would not allow, like a 24-hour diner, which would be absolute mayhem in that area. We feel that this would be a benefit to the area. It'd be a benefit to the people around the area. And I am a firm believer in past performance predicts future performance, and past performance has been all good. I'm not saying there wasn't any problems, but has been all pretty positive. And so that is the feedback that we are going on, but it is not, it is the whole group voted on this. Everybody heard this at the meeting. So if you attended the meeting, all of that information was given there. So Andrews Square Civic is in favor of this business going in. We've been waiting a long time. We're trying to clean up the area. We need the foot activity. And as stated by a few people, Andrews Square needs this. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your testimony. The next hand that I see raised is from a John P. Kutowski. Apologies for any mispronunciation. I'm going to ask you to unmute and you may please provide your testimony.
Good afternoon, Commissioners and Madam Chair. My name is John Pikatowski, lifelong resident of Andrews Square, South Boston, registered with the City of Boston, small business owner. As Lydia had mentioned, wrote a letter of concern regarding the lack of community awareness. It's all fine and well if one civic group has a meeting, but nobody on my street, which is Jenkins Street, is a member of Andrews Square Civic. No one on Jenkins Street, 500 feet away from this location, has any idea of an entertainment license hearing going forward. I would second Senator Collins's thoughts on putting this into a deferred state. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. The next hand that we see raised is from Joanna Cook. Ms. Cook, you may please provide your testimony.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Joanna Cook. I'm a resident of Jeffries Point in East Boston. Josh and the Quiet Few had no clue that I was going to be here today. I just heard about this and wanted to show up and show support for him. I think it's important to note that I am a single woman, and as such, there are certain precautions that I feel like I need to take when I go out into our neighborhoods and I go out to meet people for drinks. and the Quiet Few is my place. Josh has created an atmosphere of staff that are highly trained and aware of what it means to create and foster community and safe community. The staff are local people who understand our neighborhood and who take time to get to know us. I have no doubt that he's going to be doing the same as he thinks about staffing Small Victories. I know that there's a lot of cross-staff training going on only because I've been sitting at the bar and asking questions and hearing about it. I can't recommend Josh as a business owner enough, and the staff broadly at the Quiet Few for what they do. I've had my last 4 birthday parties there because that's the place that I want to bring my friends and my family from around the community. And it's a place where I know my diverse set of friends are going to be safe and feel welcome. So just as a random community member, I want to underscore how beautiful the neighborhood is because of the addition of the Quiet Few, the relationships that I've built with neighbors that I would have otherwise never met, and the care that I feel from the staff and the addition that they've been. Andrew Square would be incredibly lucky to have this opening up.
Thank you, Ms. Cook. The remaining hand that I see raised is from Maria on an iPhone. I'm going to ask you, there you go, you unmuted yourself. You may please provide your testimony.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I'm a homeowner on Preble Street, steps away from this establishment. I am in full favor of the application. When I heard that Mr. Weinstein was going to be opening up the Small Victories, I took time to go out to East Boston to get a firsthand glimpse and experience the Quiet Few. It seemed like a great neighborhood establishment, very well respected, and it's definitely the neighborhood atmosphere that we want to bring to Andrew Square. So I very much urge you to please approve of their application. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I see another hand raised from P. McCormick. I'm going to ask you to unmute, and you may please provide your testimony. Let me try again. Ms. McCormick, are you with us? I do see your hand raised. In the meantime, are there any other individuals who would like to provide testimony on this matter who have not yet done so? Great, we'll give another moment to see if Ms. McCormick is with us. If not, you can also provide written testimony to mocal, M-O-C-A-L, @boston.gov. Thank you, Becca, for putting that in the chat. Anything further from Director Joyce or Director Fu?
I have nothing further.
Nope, nothing for me.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was the only item on this afternoon's agenda. The Entertainment Division will take this matter under advisement and will issue a written decision that will adjourn this afternoon.
I had raised my hand.
Oh, I do not see a hand raised, but you may please provide testimony.
Okay, great. My name is Mary Moore. I also live in Andrews Square. I echo those who speak favorably of this project. I almost cried when I heard Josh say the things he did about what this tavern will be for our community. If you have been to Andrews Square, you know there's nowhere, literally nowhere, that needs it more than we do. An extension of our living room, a place that we can go and gather as a community, something to lift our spirits. Josh used the word fun. My goodness, Andrews Square needs some fun and some life and a place to go. And I couldn't be more thrilled. I'm happy to hear good reviews about him and what he's done in East Boston. It gives me hope that it's going to work similarly for us. And I look forward to giving it a try. We need a boost. We need to take a chance like this and see what it can do for us and start turning a corner as a neighborhood. Goodness knows we need to turn a corner in our neighborhood. So I welcome this and look forward to it opening, and fingers crossed it all goes off, kind of as planned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Moore, for the testimony. I do see, Ms. McCormick, you've raised your hand again, so I'll come back to you to see if you're able to connect to audio, if you're able to provide your testimony. Okay, I will ask one more time. Are there any other individuals who have not yet provided testimony who wish to do so? Great, and with that, I will reiterate that the Entertainment Division, oh, sorry, Bailey West has just raised her hand. Ms. West, you may, of course, provide your testimony. Ms. West, are you with us?
Danny, can maybe you unmute her?
I've pressed unmute to unmute her 3 times. Okay.
Like she's gone.
One last call. Any other individuals who would like to provide testimony? I will reiterate that the Entertainment Division will take this matter under advisement and will issue a written decision. This being the only item on this afternoon's agenda, this will adjourn this afternoon's hearing. Thank you all and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.